everybody, welcome to the Almond Landscape YouTube channel.
I don't think you could say it any more
Enthusiastically.
Okay, so for like 10 months now, 9 months, we've been trying
Man,
to buy.
lawn looks so bad.
We've been trying to buy a property for a shop to build on, and
For how
we
long?
had for like 9 months, I think. And so we've had a lot. We had a lot of like specific requirements. Caleb had more requirements than I did, but long story short, or short story long, as Brian Fullerton says, we got the okay from the property that we put an offer in on with. Does that make sense?
Right.
So, it was a great game of patience, but now that we have the property, now it has to go through all this crazy stuff like zoning and bank approval and permitting. But we wanted to share with you guys a few of the things we were looking for when we were looking for a property. So the things that we were looking for when we were looking for property. We wanted to keep it close to the highway.
Something I learned from Todd Pugh, Todd's Enviroscapes in Akron, Ohio, or Canton or wherever, somewhere up there. He was saying that like a lot of guys think that you buy a piece of ground outside of town, the land's cheaper, all that stuff, you save a bunch of money, right? Well, if you run the numbers on what you're paying guys to sit in the truck for windshield time, all that extra time, what it does is you're paying windshield time sets. So you're paying guys driving an extra 20 minutes a day or whatever it is, or 10 minutes or whatever. That time adds up. You're kind of paying for the more expensive land on the back end, let's say. So, and the reason we want to walk is because a video of us just sitting talking is even more boring, right? But anyways, so we decided I was going to look for land that was right close to the bypass and business route of our area here, and that way guys get in a truck, because we have guys meet on site as much as possible, because you want to have them productive on site as opposed to just sitting in a truck 10 hours a week. We want to have them productive on a job site for 40 hours a week, not 30 hours a week, being paid to ride in a truck for 10 hours a week. So we really try to, as much as we can, have guys meet on site when it makes sense, and that way we put more productive time to the job site. So, and the guys still get their hours, so it's not like we're cheating them out of hours or anything, it's just productive hours that way. So,
long story short, we just didn't want the guys to drive 30 minutes from the country.
Yeah, because you just, like I said, you run the math of what you pay, even if it's, one guy, and it just multiplies out. One guy 10 minutes extra a day, or 10 minutes a day extra each way, it's 20 minutes a day. It adds up into hundreds of dollars a month, depending on how many guys you got, maybe thousands. And then it's like, well, your mortgage might have been a couple $1,000 on a property, closer to town. The math works out. So, with that being said, that was like my number one thing, and I was just trying to be patient and wait on the right piece of ground to open up and become available. That was reasonably priced that we could afford, but still maybe higher than what we were looking for, because the other issues you got is zoning. And so yeah, you could build a shop out in the country, but if any neighbor complains about it at all, you can be shut down immediately. And I know a couple people this has happened to personally, and that was bad news because they got shut down. Then what? So you build this facility, you build a shop, build a big pole barn, and now you can't run your business out of it. You're still stuck having to build or find, a commercial facility in town anyways. So I was very adamant about that, and Britt's annoyed by it, but it's the reality. So anyway, so our land finally came
gave us
available.
The right property.
We got, Britt was one of those, Lord give me patience and give it to me now kind of thing. But now that things are going to be approved, now it's when I want to put the pedal to the metal and really get things moving. So with that being said, maybe a site that needed some love. You'll see my windows in the background. I have my trim around. We put new windows.
They need love too.
Yeah, we got to put, and the windows up there get replaced. Whatever. Anyway, slow process summer project. But anyhow, a site that maybe needed a little bit of site development work, which is something that we can put it, so the price may go a little lower, so we can put a lot of that sweat equity into it. The cliche saying. But we've got the machinery, we've got the know-how, we've got the connections of people that know how to use dozers and stuff like that.
And it would be great winter work for our guy, like brush clearing and all that kind of stuff.
Right, and then the next thing is like all the brush clearing work, so that's what we were looking for in land, is it needed some love that was a little cheaper, that we could put the cheaper to us, work in to, then make the property appreciate in value with our work on it. So that's what, you know, we were hunting there. Now there is merit to, depending on the size of your business and where you're at, of buying a property that is just plug and play, right? So like you buy it, you move in, you're done, and you're right to business, and you go right to making money immediately. And there's merit for that, because you just get, I think it just depends on how goal oriented you are with growing the business. So you don't spend all that time developing the site and saving money doing all this stuff, and you just get to work and you just keep growing the business. You go. I borderline got to that point because I was getting tired of looking for land or waiting on this piece of land to really get available.
So just close to the highway, something we could work on, put some sweat equity into, and I don't know, I think that's it.
Yep.
Just the biggest thing was close to the highway. And so like we do a lot of work north, and so Caleb didn't want a property that was like 30 minutes south, even though it was cheaper because it's a more rural area. We still wanted to keep the property up centrally located around us and where most of our work is.
Where our current shop is now, we're gonna do at least $250,000 worth of work within 5 miles of the shop. That's a big deal. And so you don't want to add, so I didn't want to go 30 minutes south of here, 10 minutes south of here even, or 20, just to add that much more windshield time and all that, just to save some money on the land. But another thing too is we didn't want to build, we don't really have enough room to build it, enough flat room to build a shop here on the house, and I don't want to anyways. I don't want the company here. I want to build, well, I have a pole barn, and that's for personal stuff. But like, I didn't want the company here necessarily, and if I had more land and more flat land, I'd probably consider it. But this is also part of like our long-term planning of like retirement concept of like in 30 or 40 years when we go to sell or retire or whatever the heck, you know, we've put, you know, a 20-year mortgage into this place, paid it off early, be the intention too, of course. We plan on paying cash for the land and then financing the build of the building itself. But like, that thing's going to appreciate in value over 30 years, and that's part of our retirement. I mean, just one piece of our retirement plan. And that's why I wanted to... I
have like a spider web on my hair.
That's why I wanted to make sure that, or that's why one of the reasons we didn't want to build here on the home front at Rancho Amano, as we call it in the Kid Contractor podcast. Download available everywhere. Check it out. Kid Contractor podcast. And by the way, like and subscribe, all that YouTuber stuff. And if you, because we're going to be documenting a lot of this process of building the facility, and it's going to be really cool, and we're really looking forward to it. We plan on building a pretty fair-sized building with lots of room for expansion, and some things with the Hardscape Academy we have coming up. Yeah, so do a lot of research. There's a lot of little things that came to play with this. Try to find a mentor that buys and sells a lot of land, because they're going to be able to guide you through a lot of this stuff. Again, I've been doing this for 20 years, so I've got some guys around me that are older than me that do a lot of this kind of stuff. So they're able to hold our hand a lot through this, which is just the biggest blessing in the world. So try to make those relationships, build those relationships, and take care of those people, because that experience is worth its weight in gold, and or a $300 an hour attorney. So, you know, try to build your network as best you can there, your professional network. Anything else?
Not right now.
So this was an interesting video. I don't know if anybody's gonna be still watching by this point. Yeah, hey, don't hit unrecord.
Why?
I still got.
Do you have anything to say?
I still got value to bring, fire to spit.
No, you don't. Okay.
Picture
Thanks for watching,
days.
guys.
Make sure that, you know, here halfway through the year that your sales are where you think they need to be, what you need to do to get them where they need to be. And you can also kind of figure out, hopefully you're figuring out and watching, you know, okay, well, I've made this much money so far this year. Where is it? And I am going to do likely this much more business this year at this profit margin, theoretically. Where's that money going? And we obviously want to be thinking about our off season, where we're at in the off season here. Like, you know, how much money do we need to squirrel away to make sure we cover all our overhead and payments and whatever? Or, you know, even if all your stuff's paid for, you need to be squirreling away money as if it had payments on it so you can buy the next new thing, right? Or replace the truck, or replace the mowers, or the skid steer loaders, or the excavators, or the pile drivers for the bridge abutments, whatever you're doing, or the new oven for making more pizza pies. I mean, you name it.